Hey everybody, it's Flora. Welcome back to my channel. Okay, so this is officially the second to last manga spoiler talk for Fruits Basket. It's kind of hard to believe, and I'm definitely emotional. Maybe not as much as last week. That was so rough. Like, last week's episode 11 was so good, but it was definitely like one of the most emotional episodes for me. It was like parts of the story that I was like really anticipating to see animated, and yeah, it's just a lot of emotions. And I don't think it's really gonna tone it down at all because we're near the end, and endings are emotional too, so yeah. Anyways, I'm in the process of moving, so that's why my background is super empty. But yeah, I have the pictures ready for episode 12. I was gonna show the chapter that's still in volume 21, the Yuki Machi stuff, but I didn't see that in the preview images, so we're just gonna focus on volumes 22 and 23. So, as always, I will go ahead and put in a spoiler warning for people who are watching the anime and haven't seen the manga. I will be talking about manga spoilers in this video, content that has not shown up in the anime yet. So, yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so as we know, the last episode followed the manga really well, but they did rearrange some things. Like, before in the manga, Yuki runs into Machi, and then his curse starts to break, and then we get the story of the god with the animals, the original promise, and then it finishes with Yuki's scene after that. So we didn't get any Yuki Machi content. So the last time we saw Yuki was, jeez, I don't even know. When was it? He ran after Machi. Yeah, he ran after Machi. Wow, okay. Yeah, this is definitely rearranged differently, but anyways. So the first picture is from the Twitter page, and this looks gorgeous. Like, what the heck? It looks amazing. Yuki's curse is the last one to break. And so he runs into Machi, which they're combining multiple Machi-Yuki scenes together, so I'm not sure how this is gonna go. I'm assuming it's gonna be like a combo of he gives her the gift, and then they hold hands, but then they're also doing the curse break scene, so I don't know what's happening. But anyways, looks like this is when they run into each other, and he hears a voice in his head saying, "You're the last. Thank you for keeping the very distant promise. Thank you." And he just kind of gasps when he hears the voice. And then, so I'm thinking that this right here, he starts to cry. And I think the anime is adding like a lot of this background detail of like the threads of the promise. So I'm excited to see that. It's gonna be really pretty. And then during this, at the very end, God says thank you and goodbye, and it shows this. This looks so pretty. Like, I love, like, they kept the flowers and just like the cool texture that they added, and it's all color. Oh, it's so pretty. And it shows all the animals in the forms that they had in the series. Look at that little mouse. Then we get chapter 131, which is the God story. But since we already got that, we're getting the second half of 131. God starts saying, "It's a tale from long, long ago, their first memories. Everyone has forgotten their first promise." And then it goes back to Yuki, where Machi's like, "Whoa, are you okay?" So then he's like, "I'm sorry, I just suddenly had to say goodbye to someone who was with me for a very long time. And being together was really difficult. But now that we're apart, it's not fair for me to be like this," because he's like visibly upset, and Machi, he didn't have a chance to tell her about the curse yet, and he decides not to at this moment. He's like, "Never mind that. Like, in exchange, I was given freedom." And then he goes to hug her. So he hugs her, and she's like all blushy. And he's like, "I'm so sorry. This isn't exactly what I wanted to tell you." Because obviously he didn't plan for this to happen. And he's like, but whatever, right now this is enough. And so it looks like in the anime she had the bag of fertilizer, so I'm assuming like she is giving him that, and she's also giving Toru the get well present, and they have that conversation. But then they're also doing the 131 content where she asks Yuki if she can call him by his name, like his first name. So I'm thinking this picture here is when she says Yuki the first time, and he just closes his eyes and he's like, say it one more time. Right there. And then she says it again, and then he kisses her. Yay! I know some people were like, what the heck? No Yuki Machi content last episode? But it's okay. We'll get plenty this week. So, yeah, I'm excited to see this. Oh, I think the next picture is also this scene. So he says, you can say it as many times as you want, his name. Oh, so cute. I love it. Oh, wait, that's not a picture. Hang on. I think this is the shot that they did right here. When he says, as many times as you want. Look at it, she looks so gorgeous. I love it. So that's after they kiss, and yeah, I'm super excited. I want to see some good Yuki content because we didn't really get to see him at all last episode when it was a very emotional episode. And I'm wondering how much this is going to take up for the episode, because judging by the next few preview images, like they're going to be showing a lot. So I'm like, how are they going to squeeze everything in? Is the last episode literally just going to be the last chapter? Like, I don't know what they're going to do. But let's keep moving. I love this shot of Momiji. It's so good. I know exactly where it is. Okay, so we're officially in the last volume now. And Akito asks everyone to gather together. And at first they don't know why, but Kyo's invited for the first time. And so everyone gets together, and then Kyo runs into Kagura, who kind of looks grumpy, but like we know that she's like moved forward and, you know, she's just having fun. But while she runs up and hugs him, Momiji takes a picture and he's like, oh, so now you're cheating, like on Toru. He's just playing around. And then he's like, what? Is this a conspiracy? Are you guys in cahoots? And we know now, like, the real story of Momiji and how he actually did like Toru this whole time, but he recognizes that Kyo and Toru have feelings for each other and he wants them both to be happy. So he just like, they're just like playing around, walking away from him, and he just kind of gives him this look. But then he does this super sweet smile, which matches so well. Oh, I can't wait. It'll be nice to have some lighthearted stuff now that everyone's gathered together. Like, we have some interactions with Yuki and Haru and Rin. Ayame comes and he's talking with Hiro, and we get to see Ritsu again after so long. So I think the next picture is actually of, yep, okay. So what is Ayame telling Yuki? Oh, he's like, I will always watch over you with the fiercest of intensities. Yuki says, that's a big claim for someone who just walked in. And he's like, don't fret, things will never be awkward between us, even without the curse. We will always be close, blah 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 blah, you know how he is. And then he says, you may worship and adore the fact that my charismatic refinement, regardless of what comes to pass, will never fail both you and the world. And Ritsu's just like, oh, how wonderful, Ayane-san. Because Ritsu really looks up to Ayame and his charisma. But after Kyo walks into the room, the atmosphere kind of gets heavier because the woman says, okay, Akito's ready to see you now. And everyone just kind of pauses because Akito walks out wearing the gift that Shigure gave her. Which they didn't show that scene in the anime yet, like when they had that argument and he gave her like the farewell present. So I don't know if they're going to combine all of the Akito Shigure scenes into one, like in the flashback in 132. But anyways, Akito walks out wearing a kimono. And she asks Hattori where Shigure is, and he's not there. But there's like a quick funny moment where Ritsu's like, Akito, you share my hobby of wearing kimonos. We know this is a big step for Akito, accepting this new part of her, and yeah, I know it came as a big shock for a lot of people, but it'll be nice to see this animated, this one last gathering. So then we immediately go into the flashback of Akito's last, I guess, temper tantrum with Shigure, and that's when she scratches his face, which we saw in the last episode. But yeah, it's just, this is the one scene where Akito tries to apologize for everything that she's done, and she just kind of breaks down in front of them, and it's gonna be a heavy moment, and it's definitely mixed feelings for a lot of people, but she tries to say she's sorry, but she just, it's like you can't put those things into words, you know? And I know she recognizes her changes that she's going through and that she still has a long way to go, and yeah, it's just like the beginning of atonement for her. So then after that, we get the full flashback with Shigure, where she runs into him after the meeting, and she starts to describe this feeling of desire for him. And she's like, I've never had this feeling before. Is this how women feel, like, towards someone they love? And so they sit together after the whole Junichi meeting, and she just opens up to him about what happened. She says everyone was surprised about, like, her being a woman and wearing the kimono. I think they had mixed feelings. I tried to apologize, but I couldn't. I didn't want to put it into words. I thought that would be like saying that I had done enough. But I still want to live here with the Soma family. I think there are things that I need to do. I mean, even like this, I'm still the head of the family. And yeah, it's like, I know people are gonna have mixed feelings about Akito's atonement, I guess. I don't know, I don't want to say redemption because there's just a lot. There's a lot that happened. But in this moment, you feel kind of proud for Akito. You're like, wow, you've really, like, come far in these past few episodes. And so then Shigure gets to the point, as he always does, and he's like, so you want me to join that life with you, like staying at the Soma estate and making the changes that are needed? And she asks him, are you angry? And he's like, a little. Can you blame me? I was waiting a long time for this. So here we go. This is where he's like, you sure took your sweet time. I think this entire series, Shigure was waiting for Akito to grow and to change into the person that she's become. And it ties back to the thing he said when they were kids, and he's like, of course I love you. I'll always love you. And then that's the end of 132. Alright, next one. Okay, I think this picture of Shisho is from chapter 134. So they didn't show any pictures from 133, but I'm assuming they'll put something like that in there. I really hope they keep the scene with Rin talking with Toru about how she's still, like, upset and how she can't forgive Akito so easily, and, you know, it's a really important scene, so I hope they keep it. But I'm still excited to see this chapter, 134, because this is Kyo and Toru's first official date. But Otani and Hanajima join them, which is like some nice, like, lightheartedness in between all the heavy stuff going on. But anyways, towards the end of it is when they arrive at Kyoko's grave, and Kyo tells Toru that I've spent my whole life until now avoiding the world and trying to not be involved in it, and things are different now. I can live in the world with you like a normal person. So he's thinking about the future, and he tells him that he wants to move. He wants to go visit other places than this town that they've always lived in. And if it's okay, I want to do all that together with you. So that finishes 134. And then we get into 135, where after Kyo says all those things, like, I want to travel, I want to move away, and I've been talking to Shisho about working with another dojo. I think it's referencing this scene when Toru saying like, these are such great things because Kyo is thinking about the future and he wants to live. And I'm so happy. So she tells him that she'll go with him. And Kyo's like, really? You'll come? Like, you don't want to think about it more? Like, it's totally okay. You won't be able to see everybody as often. And I really like what Toru says when she's saying that she doesn't want to be apart from him and she doesn't want to wait for him. And I feel like that's different from other shoujo in a way, because, you know, there's those stories where they'll wait for you or whatever. She just says, I know that leaving everyone will be really sad, but I can't be apart from you. That would break my heart even worse. I want to always be by your side, and I don't want to be apart. I don't want to wait for you. Please take me with you. And then I think it shows this scene here. Yeah, okay. I think the shot is this part here when she's telling Kyo that she's so happy that he's thinking about the future and that he wants to live and travel with her. And yeah, this matches really well too. This is where she says, please take me with you. He just says, thank you. And the next part really gets to me, like the Kyoko content of this chapter. I'm not gonna go into detail just because I'll probably get emotional talking about it, let's be real. I remember reading it for the first time and I was so surprised. Like when they walk away and then you just have this black background where it just says, crap, what do? I can't hear anything and blah, blah, blah. Why is it so quiet? And I didn't connect it that they're going way back to like the very beginning. But yeah, the last picture is of Kyoko. And I don't really know where that is in the manga. It could be when she's smiling at Toru before she leaves to go to work that day and Toru's still sleeping. But yeah, this part is just so emotional, like especially because Kyo says, he kind of, after their conversation where Toru says, yes, I'll go with you, he kind of pauses and he's like talking to Kyoko at their grave and he says, I'll keep my promise. It took me a really long time, but now I'll keep it for the rest of my life. So yeah, the Kyoko content, the very last words in chapter 135 is Kyoko saying, Ganbatta ne, meaning you did good or you did your best, you fought well, which is the title of the episode. So that makes me think that they're gonna include all the content up until the very last chapter. So I don't know what they're gonna keep in and keep out. It seems like a lot of stuff to put in one episode, but I'm still really excited to see it. I'll probably be emotional, especially during the Yuki moments and the Kyoko content. So yeah, I just can't believe it's like almost over. It's just unreal. But I'm super excited to see it. The season has been amazing, and I know it's not including every little detail, but I always have the manga to go to, you know? And it's so good. Alright everyone, that's it for my manga spoiler talk this week. I will see you all on Monday with my reaction to episode 12. I hope you have a great weekend, and thank you all so much for your support. I'll see you all then, okay? Take care. Bye!